Well, hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me. I'm a little bit distracted and late today. I do apologize. And my cat here might accidentally also push some keyboard buttons, so I might actually lose the feed today. Yeah, that's a great way to finish the week. We are Friday. Okay, let me get back to where we were the last time. There we go. And here, there, and that looks kind of like what I want to do. So let's change it, but let's put it a little bit bigger here. Yes. So that's where we were a couple of days ago when we were doing this. The Evil Dead from 1981, which I do remember this. This is one movie I did see. And it left an impression on me. This was, yeah, one of those really scary movies. I mean, I saw it in 1981. So it was a friend's birthday party special, so we all went to see it. And it was creepy. It compared to the Friday the 13th and Nightmares on Elm Street, which were basically jokes. This movie really wanted to scare the bejesus out of us. And mission accomplished. So, if you're looking for something scary, I'm guessing now the graphics and everything else is pretty dated. It might not work as good as it did back then. Maybe it did not age well. I don't know. I haven't seen it since. Like I said, it really creeped me out, and never again did I ever want to see it. But that's just me, Everybody's a little bit different. Some people like this genre. I'm not a big fan of horror movies, it's not my speciality. But, given that it's Halloween, might as well do something different and do something scary. I'm looking at some other content creators, and really, they are doing a great job. Like, really, people doing the cosplay, doing the costumes, people are really getting into it. I mean, back in the day, we would do one or two pumpkins, set them out, but Halloween has taken on a life of its own now. So, okay, at number 55, La, I don't know why there's two L's in this name, but La Llorona from 2019. How does it get a critic score of 96 when one of the all-time best horror movies is at 86? But okay, and I've never heard of it. So it's not a very old movie. It was done like what, 4 years ago? And I've never heard of it. Maybe you guys have heard of it. You can let me know in the comments down below. Then we're going to get to another movie here at number 54, Nosferatu, which this movie I do know from 1979. It was a weird kind of movie. For people that don't know, Nosferatu is also another name for Dracula. So this is another Dracula movie. Yeah. It's, I wouldn't say it's great. It did have certain elements back in the day that separated it from others. At some point, I was almost wondering if I'm watching an alien autopsy movie. Just because, yes, the special effects for that time period are good. It was just kind of weird to watch. But I liked it, but it was nothing all that serious. I don't necessarily agree with the 95% score. Like I said, for me, 86 is up there with the best of the best. And I don't see how this has 10% more scores and is like 20% less scary. So I don't always understand the way that they rate these horror movies. I thought the scarier the movie is, the better the score, but sometimes you give points for technology and imagery and special effects, I'm guessing. Okay, next we move on to Creep 2 from 2017. So this is already a sequel. Really, 100% score. This is like the ultimate perfect scary movie. Okay, so if it's, I might have to watch this. I have not watched it. It stands at number 53. I personally have never ever seen this. Never heard of it. I mean, I've heard of Scary Movie, which was more of a comedy. I never saw it as being scary. But Creep 2? I don't know. A video artist quickly realizes she has made a mistake when she meets a serial killer in a cabin. Okay, well, I don't like the synopsis, but okay, we can still give it a try. So, I don't know why everybody has to be a video artist. What is a video artist, anyways? I mean, you're either a cameraman or you're either an influencer or social media personality. What is a video artist? I'm asking folks. Okay. On to the next movie at number 52. Okay. Here, The Green Room from 2015. I don't think I've seen this. I do have a green screen, but I don't have a green room, which kind of. Why is it at 90%? Why are all the recent movies from the past 10 years in the 90s to 100? And why is it that even through social media or anything, throughout all my reviews, all my viewers, nobody ever mentions these movies to me? What is going on with the rating of these movies? Uncommon intelligence and powerfully acted alone. Okay, so they're trying to use words. Okay, members of a punk rock band and tough woman, young woman, battle murderous white supremacists. Okay, well, that's not interesting at all. Why would we want to fight amongst humans? Eh, I prefer AI movies, Let's take on the robots. Okay, well, here at number 51 is a classic. I've seen it. I don't like it. I do know a lot of girls used to like this movie. From 1976, Carrie. Now, this is a movie that's been redone over and over again. There's been television series, television movies. It's it was wild back in the day. And for a lot of people, the blood scene was really mean. And it incorporates a couple of ideas and turns them inside out. Now, how can I say this? I'm a guy, so I don't really understand the female perspective of things necessarily. But I do know for a lot of girls, when the first time they get their period, it is something of a dramatic, uh, very emotional. If Well, back in my days, back in 1976, a lot of women, mothers did not, or fathers did not talk about this subject with their child. It was not necessarily taboo, but we did not talk openly about these kinds of things. So usually, either the child is traumatized, or then they go and talk to their mother about it. They think they're dying, and then the mother explains tampons and all these things to her. But for a lot of people, that was something of a personal traumatic experience for a lot of girls growing up, especially, back in 1976 when people didn't talk about stuff. It's so important to talk about stuff. I'm not saying that you always have to share your feelings about everything all of the time, but this affects every single woman. So, yes, important stuff like this we need to talk about. But in this movie, it takes it to the next level and makes it even more traumatic and, really tries to scandalize and, yeah. So a lot of girls, yeah, had nightmares because of this movie. A lot of guys too, but not as much. But it was extremely popular. A lot of girls encourage other girls to go and see this movie just to have people start talking about the subject. It's an important subject, and I'm happy that somebody put it into a horror movie because to avoid these kinds of situations, you know, it's easily avoidable. You don't have to scandalize your kids with the unknown. Okay, enough ranting about that movie. It's not something that affects everybody, but kudos, that movie. I do recommend it. Especially if you're a youngster and you're about to become a teenager, something to look at. At number 50, Midsummer. A movie from 2019, so not that old. Another movie that's like 4 years old. A young American couple, their relationship foundering, travel to a fabled Swedish midsummer festival where seemingly pastoral paradise transforms into a nightmare, I'm guessing. Don't know if it's any good. The score, strangely enough, for something that's recent, is back in the 80s. So I don't know how good this would be. I guess we would have to wait and see and find out. Yep, okay. The image is cut, unfortunately. Nothing I can do about it. Yeah, my cats are restless. They're really wanting to go out today. Okay, well, in the last video we talked about this movie, which is one of my favorites. The remake is one of my favorites. At number 49, The Fly, from 1958. The one we were talking about yesterday is the remake, the one that I saw as a kid that I really liked. Actually, I've never seen the original, or I don't remember ever watching the original. I don't know how good it was. It's got a score here of 95%, which might be a good thing, might not be a good thing. Who knows? I mean, for me, I really enjoyed the remake. I was never, I don't know, 1958 probably is a black and white movie. Hey, it even has Vincent Price. Wow, okay, well, that's something else. But even if it's a black and white movie, does it even have sound? Probably, because in the 50s they did have sound. It's not like the 30s. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about this watching it. Growing up, I really had an issue with watching black and white movies. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again in this video. But we had two television sets in the house, a black and white one and then a color television. And we were transitioning from black and white era to the color era. And color was so much better. So why go backwards? So it's just a thing of my era, never wanting to go back to black and white movies. So I don't know if this movie is any good or any bad. I mean, they did make a remake, so at some point it had to be good. But personally, I cannot talk about the original The Fly movie. Just like at number 48, a movie from 1953, House of Wax. Now, this also had a couple of remakes, if I'm not mistaken. Again, with Vincent Price. I really miss Vincent Price. He had one of those presence on screen, one of those voices. And every time he would speak, you can, have the goosebumps and the hairs, rise up. He just was so good at what he was doing. I really miss him, and in a way, we haven't found anybody to replace him. Okay, maybe Anthony Hopkins, but Anthony Hopkins is a completely different character. I mean, he can make stuff scary, he can make stuff interesting. I mean, even Anthony Hopkins, when he's reading passages from Frankenstein, it's almost poetic. It's not creepy. It's not scary. It's just food for thought and makes you think about stuff. Okay, on to the next one at number 47. Drag Me to Hell. Wow. From 2009, how does it get a 92 score? I don't know. Don't want to know. Don't know nobody from it, but directed by Sam Raimi again. So it might actually be good because Sam Raimi, when he applies himself, does do good stuff. So I guess if you're a horror movie lover, I'm guessing Sam Raimi has to be one of your top directors, and you probably like everything he does. So this might be worth watching. I don't know. I'll have to let you folks decide for yourselves. Then we go on to the next one. A girl walks home alone at night. Really, that's a very complicated title. It does explain what it is. At number 146, and it also has a 96% score. So, residents of a worn down Iranian city encounters a skateboarding vampire. Okay, well, this is complete and utterly fantasy. And no, I would stay away from this. Definitely. With the current everything that's going on, I am not, I'm just going to skip it. Okay, at number 45, His House, a movie from 3 years ago. Okay, and this one has a 100% score. I mean, at a 100% score, let's face it, people, between you and me, if you get 100%, you probably got an Oscar too. So if this movie does not have an Oscar, it does not deserve a 100% score. And for a horror movie to get an Oscar, it has to be really, really, really up there. A refugee couple makes a harrowing escape from a war torn South Sudan, but then struggle to adjust to their new. This is almost like a documentary, I'm guessing. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe it is a scary story, but if it's inspired by a true story, then it's kind of weird. I really don't know where people are going with these movies nowadays. At number 44, Ready or Not. Here I come. Is this Hide and Seek from 2019? It's pretty up there in the scores. Smart, subversive, dark, funny. Ready or Not is a crowd-pleasing horror film. Okay. Grace couldn't be happier after she marries the man of her dreams. Okay. I don't know. I don't believe in fantasy. This sounds like fantasy more than it does horror, but maybe, all weddings turn to chaos in a horror story. Maybe that's the moral of that story. Hey, kitty cat. My cat's looking at flies. He does not like flies. It's a dead fly, but he's still gonna study it. It's like, hey, I'm hungry. Is it food? Okay, well, this is a good subject for number 43. Tigers are not afraid. Which, speaking of my little tiger, he's not afraid. I mean, he's half the size of my bigger cat and still, tries to get into fights. Don't know if you watched the upload yesterday I did of my cats fighting. But man, out of nowhere, my tiger cat decides to pounce on the panther and, you want a piece of me? Maybe not. He backs down quickly enough. Okay, when a girl's mother disappears, leaving her on her own, she's going a gang of street children. Hey, kitty cat, move out of the way. Well, yeah. Ooh, somebody was having a good nap. Now he's going to get into that mood where he wants to bother me, convince me to let him out, which will happen within the next couple of minutes. But Tigers Are Not Afraid, a movie from 2017, it has a really high score of 97. I don't know if it's worthy. Can anybody out there, any viewers, explain to me why all of these movies have such high scores? At number 42, Mandy, a movie from 2018. Okay. Well, I do know this star, Nicolas Cage. I mean, he's done some really good stuff. Mandy's gonzo violence is fueled by a gripping performance by Nicolas Cage. I mean, Nicolas Cage can do some really good stuff. He's been nominated for Oscars. I don't know if he's actually won one. Hopefully he has. But I have not heard of this movie, and in the past couple of years, he has not done really good movies. But maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe Mandy is one of his best performances ever, and the movie kind of got, overlooked. Who knows? You'll have to let me know in the comments down below. All right. Bum, bum, bum. I don't know how good it is. Okay, well, this, this movie, this is where we're going to end it for today, folks. At number 41, It. 86% score. How does this get an 80? It should be one of the best ones we've talked about today. A well-acted friendship, frightening with emotional, affecting story at its core. Yes, it is based on Stephen King's classic story without losing touch with its heart. 7 young outcasts in Derry, Maine are about to face their worst nightmare, an ancient, shape-shifting evil that emerges. And for people who don't know, Stephen King does live in Maine, which is not far from where I live. Well, I say not far, but yeah, it would be, probably a 14-hour drive to get there, not including crossing the border and the lineups and complications there. Hey, you never know. Mandated vaccines and stuff. We are heading towards that again, folks. They are working on an even better, more killing virus, so watch out. It is coming. These scientists can really make great cocktails, I would say. Anyways, that's a real horror story. Honestly, real life is a lot scarier than these movies. And I think they do it on purpose. But that's just me. Maybe you have another idea. But yeah, it has always been. I'm pretty sure this is also a remake, and there's been TV movies and all kinds of stuff based on this novel from Stephen King. He has also, like Remy, Stephen King has a pulse on fantasy slash horror. I mean, it kind of wants to take you in one direction and then it creeps you out in another direction. I like it. Like I saw The Lawnmower Man, and it takes you into the world of sci-fi, but then it turns it into a nightmare. And Maximum Overdrive, where it was really cool to see the cars and stuff acting on their own, but it turned into a nightmare when all the vehicles turn against humans. It's like there's a cool factor, and then there's the nightmare application to whatever concept he's bringing into these movies. So I really like Stephen King for that. Not a fan. I haven't read any of his books, but growing up, every time he would come out with a movie, it was just very entertaining to watch. Not saying I was scared by any of it. Maybe if I saw it, I would be scared. I don't know. Maybe you are. Let me know. But at 41, this is where we are going to end it. Otherwise, I'll finish all of these horror movies way too quickly before I have time to get to Halloween. But yes, I will do a top 5. I don't know if I should do a top 5 or top 10 scary movies. I'll probably do a top 10. I think I have enough material to do a top 10. So, without further ado, folks, that's going to be it for today. So, hopefully, I will see you in the next one. I should do voiceovers. Okay, folks, have yourselves a good one. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And I will see you soon.